Skyrim.
Skyrim is an action RPG that has been released on almost every modern video game platform, from the old Xbox 360 to PC to the new Nintendo Switch. For the purpose of this Let's Play, we will be using the PC version of Skyrim, but not the newer Skyrim Special Edition. This is because we wanted to review the original version of the game, and we wanted to showcase all the mods it has to offer. The Special Edition does not allow us to do that. Skyrim is considered an action game because the main source of gameplay for the player is combat. The world is littered with enemies that progressively get more and more difficult to beat. This is executed incredibly well as the player has various options that cater to many different playstyles. You can mix and match between stealth, ranged, magical, or good old-fashioned hack and slash combat. The game provides the player with various skill trees so that they can grow with their character throughout the game. However, what separates Skyrim from other action games is the shout, or Thuum as it is called in game. With this, your character literally shouts in game. With each shout having different effects, the player experiences a new type of combat either way. This game is also considered an RPG game. This is because you as a player take on the role of the Dragonborn and are given the task to go on mighty quests throughout the land of Skyrim. The player gets the chance to explore a massive open world game and can choose to proceed through the game any way they please. This genre, again, is executed incredibly well. The player's first decisions in the game are presented through character customizations. The customizations in this game are so vast that almost every little detail about your character can be altered to your tastes. Even if all these choices aren't enough for a player, one can download fan-made mods for even more customization. In conjunction with this, the vast amount of dialogue options presented to the player, each with their own consequences, allow the player to feel more immersed in the game.
Skyrim easily gets us immersed in the game right at the beginning with character creation. As you are creating a character, Bethesda gives you an ample amount of character creation choices. As you spend time creating your character, the magic circle is also being created. Once you finish creating such character, the magic circle is finalized as well. Everything you do will make you feel like you're part of this world. As a result, every time you boot up Skyrim, the magic circle is automatically formed as you get immersed in this expansive world. Every decision you make in-game will be decided by the player, thus making the immersion more realistic as you feel like you are making meaningful choices due to the fact that you are immersed in the game. Skyrim tries to control the flow state for the player by using its massive amount of in-game content. Skyrim has so much in-game content that, despite the game being linear, many players never finish the main quests as they prefer to do the side quests over the main story. Since there are so many side quests, unless you invest in a lot of time, one will never finish the game. However, if a player focuses on one specific playstyle throughout his or her playthrough, they will get bored fairly easily. Yet, this is one of Bethesda's clever ways to control the player's flow state. These side quests forces players to adapt to a new playstyle, otherwise it will be very difficult if they keep playing with a single playstyle. But wait, if the player who is set on playing with one playstyle finds part of the game to be hard as a result of their decision, then this prevents the player from being bored, as they have some form of challenge causing them to improve their skills. And for the other players who are willing to adapt, then they will learn a new playstyle, as a result being in the proper state to find the game enjoyable. As a result, Bethesda used their quest system as a way to control the flow state of the players, causing them to sink more hours into the game.
This game entices players through many different aspects of the gamer motivation model. Destructive players have many tools at their disposal to defeat enemies. Players who seek excitement are provided various different enemy types that increase in both design and difficulty. Skyrim also appeals to the community by allowing mod support. Players from around the world can create and share fan-made projects that can completely change the game. Mods have the ability to increase or decrease any part of the gamer motivation model. The vanilla game can lack challenge unless the difficulty is cranked, but there are those who create challenges within the game. For example, the streamer TheHappyHob completed a run-through of the game where he did not die or take any hits at all while on the hardest difficulty. This game will kill the completionists, as the game is advertised to have infinite quests that the player can complete. The addition of skill trees and various power shouts also appeals to the power gamers. Nerds who love fantasy are immediately immersed into the realm of Skyrim right from the introduction scene. After that, Bethesda creates a world straight from a Tolkien novel. What's not to love about dragons, magic, orcs, and giant enemy crabs? And finally, Skyrim is all about discovery. Scattered across a gigantic open world are secret areas, caves, underground cities, watchtowers, dungeons, waterfalls, and so much more. There's so much to do in this game that many players ditch the main story just to go explore. Skyrim has a linear narrative structure with a standard narrative arc. The player is introduced in the exposition, but the length of the rest of the arc largely depends on if the player wants to adventure on their own in the game or complete the story. Next, we will discuss the mechanics of Skyrim. There are operational rules and advisory rules. The operational rules are taught to the player in-game without the use of a tutorial mode. The advisory rules come from those who post on forums and message boards that help players find locations, quests, items, etc. Skyrim is not a punishing or difficult game. Using save and quick save mechanics, the player rarely faces challenge in which they need to retry many times. Players can also pause gameplay during combat to heal, drink potions, change weapons, etc. Because of this, Skyrim does not take excessive skill to play. There is very little to do with chance in this game. The only thing that players have to guess is lockpicking. With more difficult locks, the chance to land on the correct position diminishes and the correct position changes every time you load the game. Other than that, objects, puzzles, enemy locations, and items are largely predetermined.
Objects are diverse. They vary from food to potions to weapons to armor. There are too many to talk about, so let's focus on the humble health potion. You can craft these potions, and their effectiveness varies if you crafted them or if it was found on the ground. As a result, the effectiveness of a health potion is a dynamic attribute, since the value that it is able to heal varies. However, the image on the health potion is static. As a result, this is a static attribute because the image of what a health potion is in Skyrim never changes.
Skyrim appeals to almost every type of gamer in Bartle's taxonomy. The Achievers have a plethora of items to seek out and collect, various subquests and stories to complete, levels to attain, and skill trees to fill. The Explorers have a huge open world to discover with seemingly unlimited secrets and Easter eggs to find. Because of this, players can advance through the main storyline or unlimited subquests on their own time. In the vanilla game of Skyrim, there is no multiplayer and it is a single-player only experience. Luckily for the socializers, there exists an entire population of characters in the world with various personalities and custom dialogue trees that allow the realm of Skyrim to feel real. Unfortunately for the killers, there is no player versus player action in Skyrim. As previously stated, this is a single-player only experience. There does exist a mod, however, that allows for online play, but it sadly does not support PvP action.
Mods in Skyrim are one of the main reasons why many people still play this game. They add so much more in-game content than what the vanilla originally had, and they make it so much more fun. Many people joined the modding community after seeing the endless potential that you could add on to Skyrim. It's still an active community today after 5 years since the game's release, and many people still partake in making mods for this game. On the Steam Workshop, you are able to find many mods that you can download to apply to the game with ease. I am willing to bet someone recently just released a mod onto the Steam Workshop for Skyrim as of today. With the modded community being so active, Skyrim also has an active forum as well. These forums range from modders asking for what the community wants next, to people asking questions on how to solve problems with their game. The Steam Community Forum is an example of a forum where people ask questions and bring awareness to other people about problems with Skyrim. On the other hand, the Nexus Mod Forum is an example of a modding community forum where people talk about mods and problems that specific mods have on Skyrim. With such an active community, Skyrim will most likely continue to have continued support for decades to come until a new Elder Scrolls game is released.
May I use a clip of your Skyrim no-hit run? For a project? Yeah, I guess. Go for it, man. Unless you make thousands of millions, in which case I will need a bit of the money. Yeah.